A lot of homeowners wrongly assume that if they spend money on improvements, they'll see that money back when they sell or refinance. But many times this isn't true. Some of the most expensive renovations and updates add nothing to the appraised value. And I'm going to walk you through 5 luxury upgrades an appraiser can't give you credit for, and more importantly, the reasons why, so you can make informed decisions about future updates and more accurately value the ones that you already have. I'm Justin Braithwaite, a real estate broker with over a decade of experience. Let's get into it. Chapter 1, Out-Renovating your neighborhood. Let's start in the kitchen because that's where people tend to spend the most and expect the most back. Here's how an appraiser will actually arrive at a number for your kitchen. They look at similar homes that's recently sold nearby and they compare. If you've been watching my videos, you know by now that your kitchen gets measured against the kitchens in those comparable homes, not against what it cost you. So when you put a luxury kitchen into a neighborhood where the kitchens in the surrounding homes are mid-range, the appraiser has nothing to anchor it to. In other words, there are no recent sales close by that prove that a buyer paid extra for a kitchen like yours. If you want a luxury kitchen, this doesn't mean that you shouldn't have it and enjoy it while you live there, but just know that on paper, it would be considered an over-improvement and much of the cost would not come back to you when you refinance or sell. So if that's important to you, your safest bet is to meet your neighborhood standard. Everything beyond that point is for you, not the appraisal. Chapter 2, the home theater. Home theaters have an added twist. When the appraiser sees one, they see a finished room and they credit it the way they'd credit any finished room of that size in your area. Then there's everything you put inside it. The projector, electronics, media gear, any freestanding recliners are all personal property and aren't considered part of the house. And as a result, usually aren't included in the appraisal at all. Any built-in pieces are a different story. They do stay with the house, but the appraiser still won't add back what they cost because a room built for one purpose is considered an over-improvement. There are likely to be no comparable sales proving a buyer paid extra for a theater, and most buyers would incur a cost to turn it back into normal living space. So, enjoy the theater while it's yours, just don't count it as equity. Chapter 3, Landscaping. Landscaping can be confusing and contradictory. A clean, well-kept yard helps the home sell faster and at the top of its fair market value range, and it appraises higher too because it gets measured against other well-kept properties that sold higher, not against neglected ones. So, maintaining the yard pays. But what you don't get credit for is the expensive, decorative spending above what's common in your area. Things like fountains, koi ponds, elaborate beds, imported stone. If those features aren't in the comps, the appraiser has nothing to support them, so they add little to nothing in appraised value. They might help the home show and sell at the top of its range, but the cost itself doesn't come back as value. So, keep the yard clean, healthy, and attractive, and treat anything past that as a benefit you're buying for yourself. Chapter 4, Smart Home Automation. Smart home automation runs into a different version of the same problem. There's no standard way for an appraiser to value elements like smart lighting, shades, security systems, and the main panel. There's literally no place on the form for it. The technology also dates quickly and thus depreciates quickly. The exception is anything that lowers real cost, like a thermostat that cuts the energy bill, which can be read as improved energy efficiency. The automation itself, the part that costs the most right now, mostly counts for nothing. The exception is that in some high-end markets, buyers have started to expect it, and as that spreads, it will start to register, but in most neighborhoods, it hasn't yet. Chapter 5, the private court. Most people that spend the money to install a tennis or basketball court are sure it's an asset they'll get their money back on at sale, but it's almost always valued at nothing. Outside of areas where courts are common, there usually aren't sales nearby showing a buyer paid extra for one. So there's nothing for the appraiser to add. Granted that the right buyer may pay extra for it, but most buyers would want to remove it and get that space back. So if you'll plan on it every week and can afford it, build it. Just don't expect to recoup your cost in the sales price. The appraised value starts with a buyer paying for a feature, and the appraisal catches up once enough buyers do the same. So before your next project, look up what homes like yours nearby have sold for and see whether the feature you're paying for shows up in those prices. If it doesn't, it's risky to count on recouping the cost. Which of your upgrades are you sure will pay you back, and which ones do you think won't? Let us know in the comments. And if you're buying or selling anywhere in the country and you're not sure where to start, reach out to me. I can help connect you with a strong local agent who knows your market, communicates well, and will give you honest guidance. There's a link in the description. I'm Justin Braithwaite, and if you enjoyed this video, subscribe. I put out new videos like this every week. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.